that map, maybe not, because we haven't picked that one up, but we'll go over that.
One time.
Do a quick video, yeah.
Yep, and they're going to be par fried, then they're going to get fried for a timer, then they're going to get set the house seasoning, which is probably going to see some adjustment in this week. Probably going to take the sesame out of that, and then instead of, so the spice blend is just going to be spice, salt, and citric acid. That's what the fries are going to be tossed in, and then they're going to be topped with the furikake that we used to put on the loco. We're going to call it kelp confetti or something on the menu, and it's just going to add a little bit, another dimension. So it'll be like a shake of green on top of the fries. Those are going to be plated into the thumb slanted bowl. All right. That one's real quick. That one's real easy. One of those guys, one of those weird shaped ones. Which we'll need to go into training. Well, I'm not plating right now, but thank you, Liz. We'll need to go into training on how those get stored on station, which will be really important for both a dish responsibility and a line responsibility. If you come in and your slanted plates aren't stacked correctly, and you knock them over and they fall all over the place, that's on you. That's not necessarily on the person. It's on both. I don't know. Ignore me on that one. I'm not going to go so far as to say who it's on, but please try to pay attention and help everybody make sure that these slanted plates are stacked appropriately and not more likely to tumble and crash to the ground.
How do you want them stacked?
We'll go over that in a little bit. We'll go over that tomorrow when we start service. All right. Gabby, standard pancake procedure that we've already talked about. I have these pancakes hot on the grill. The insides are out. Insides are out. Yep, that's exactly what I meant to say. For char siu butternut, this is a product that's going to be prepped ahead of time. It will be held cold on your station, just like the beef patties. We're looking for 100 grams of char siu butternut, which I have on this sheet as 4 pieces. With this stuff, it looks like it's going to be 5. Boom, done. Those get onto the flat top, or potentially in the next week, the pan. We're looking for like probably at least 4 pieces, if not 5, just to make sure we're filling the sandwich well. That's 2 more portions. Again, reminder that at the very least for the first week, we want you weighing stuff out to be accurate, but it's more important that the sandwiches and dishes that we're preparing for people look good and are satisfying. So squash down. It's going to start browning, especially on a nice hot grill, which is exactly what we want it to do. Out of the portions that I have here, I'd say that these 4 pieces here are definitely on the heavier side, so I'm going to limit it to 4. These guys are a little bit smaller, so that's going to be 5. These guys are a little bit smaller, so that's going to be 5. Pancakes right now are showing their presentation side. Flip them. I'm going to add bean hummus. Portion of 60 grams.
It's over? No, it's not.
Alright, so I'm looking for 60 grams, which is a pretty hefty spoon. That is 60 grams. That is also 60 grams. Wow, so cool. Make sure the hummus is spread across the entirety of 1 half of the pancake. The hummus is part of the seasoning, so it's important that every bite has some hummus. And I think honestly, based off of what this is looking like, we're probably going to go down on the portion of this hummus. For now, 60 grams. Similar to the Double Awesome, this is going to be a sandwich where you're working it in 2 parts. You're going to need to do the pancake first. Once the pancake is like halfway through, you should be starting your squash. once your pancake is flipped onto the interior is when your squash should be ready to go onto the pancake. As much as possible, splitting your portion evenly, knowing that you're going to be cutting the pancake in half. So ideally, you have a little bit of space in between where the squash, like if you have 4 pieces, getting 2 pieces on one side and 2 pieces on the other is going to yield a better sandwich and a better eating experience than like having it evenly split across, because you're going to have that little bit of a gap when you cut it in half, and hopefully there will still be squash throughout. All right, that's that. Fill this grill. Salad greens, as we talked about, are going to live underneath here unless we're busy, in which case they can live out. This one has cabbage pickles. Cool. I think the final amount that we're going to be looking for on greens is going to be 15 grams per person, not 20. $15 grams, pretty full bowl. That's actually 16, but we're just going to call it 15. And this is probably another one that we could, like greens are a weird one where the more you put in there, you actually want to be, this is one item that maybe a little less on the portion side versus a little bit more, because the more that you try to jam in here, the more they're going to fall all over the place on the flat top. Eyeballs. Okay, this sandwich is also going to get, the sandwich says it's going to get cabbage pickles, but I'm going to switch it up and give it this pickle slaw that we're going to start using, which is just going to be julienne radishes and carrot pickles. I'm looking for 30 per sandwich, so 90 all day. 3 portions of pickle slaw. This is dressed lightly with tangy cranberry dressing. Even distribution. Cool, that's everything. Then it just goes into a mambo plate. For cutting these sandwiches, it's going to be a lot different than like the double or kimchi dog. Kimchi dog, obviously, because we cut it on a cutting board, while these sandwiches will ideally be cut on the flat top. It's real good to not burn your pancakes like I'm doing right now, but you know, whatever. I would suggest folding it, but not trying to get it like all the way in half, and then planning on 2 cuts. If you try to do it all in one, you're going to force even more stuff out of the sandwich. So just always plan to do it in 2.
So you want us to fill in like 2, like what it says on the tomorrow? Or do you want us to go a little less on the greens?
Let's do what the one sheet will say tomorrow.
A little burn. Oh, a little
Well, so as you
burn.
see, I'm kind of like forcing stuff out of the sandwich, cutting it, and then the trick is to just make sure that you're using your spatula to kind of relocate the meats back onto the plate, back onto the sandwich.
Yay! Beautiful.
I would say that this would be my preferred plating method, where one side is flat down, and if we can, getting the other side to kind of like stand up a little bit, especially in the sandwiches. Like the double, it's not going to be exactly like this because it won't be as full, but any of these new sandwiches that we're putting on, the more full you can make them look, the better. You know, like we want them to be overstuffed. We almost want people to be like, I need a fucking fork and knife to finish this shit off, because you know that's where perceived value can kind of come from. Cool. Questions?